sensitive payloads that is
Yeah.
very costly and could be like you might
Timing
lose some data
control?
from the satellite and
Yeah.
affect its workability.
Control here, go ahead.
Definitely.
Still external hold mode is coming.
Right.
Noted.
Now, even after the payload fairing has
Break
separated,
related to
the
launch
job
control.
isn't done yet, right? The climb is
Please release
still
external
going
hold.
on. Stage 3 steps in and it generates quite a
Launch
large
control two
amount of
controls.
thrust
External hold
to
release.
essentially power the vehicle
Roger.
into orbit. It keeps pushing it to near orbital velocities.
Control.
And then
Request
comes
MCC
something
to
different,
release the
like we
hold.
talked about earlier. We have the orbital adjustment module that kicks in. And this is the stage that I got to work on very closely. Like I mentioned earlier, it was a team of very ingenious, multidisciplinary members. We had teams from systems, propulsion,
Timing, we can
dynamics,
set the revised T02,
quality,
12:05,
safety,
30 hours
reliability,
Timing
CFD, design. I mean, you cannot count these fields on the fingers of your hand, and they all had to work in unison
Control to all ground stations.
build this stage.
All ground stations to
And
note.
then once
Revised
it starts
T0
working,
is
it
at
will precisely
12:05,
place
30 hours
all of
IST.
these satellites into its intended orbit. And you might feel like all of this is happening. There's so many things happening, right? But it's just 16 minutes. That's all it takes.
It's
T
so
minus 20
fast,
minutes.
but it seems really long. Like it took us like 1 hour from the entire bus stand to reach Sriharikota. But as Suyash pointed out, so it's such a we can say the entire rocket engineering, the complexity. Looking at the complexity of it, it's like an entire opera house. You have to be like a soprano. You have to be so perfect. Every system, every individual, and every component should be in tune to engage all the systems at the right moment so that we can have even a small ignition. And now we have a Vikram-1, which has close to 1,000 subsystems, and almost 2/3 of it will be utilized just even at liftoff. That's really fascinating.
So we've gotten confirmation, and you might see it on your screen shortly as well. The countdown has restarted. We are resetting to T minus 20 minutes, and we are at T minus 19
Break
minutes
related
for the
to Skyroot
information
CNC.
of all our
Please
viewers.
inform other ground stations about the new T0. Please
To
confirm on
control
that.
timing in external hold mode.
CNC copied.
All our viewers.
Inform other ground stations about the new T0.
To control
Please
timing
confirm.
timing in external
Skyroot
hold mode.
CNC copied.
All our
Please
viewers.
inform other ground stations about the new T0.
To control
Please confirm on
timing in external
Skyroot
hold mode.
CNC copied.
All our
Roger.
viewers.
Skyroot LCC to all. S2 and S3 HMS
other
is
ground stations
event
about
number
the new
97
T0.
completed.
To control
Roger.
timing in external
Skyroot
hold mode.
CNC copied.
Control
all our
Roger.
viewers.
Skyroot LCC to all.
RSO
S2 and
is
S3
on
HMS
other
is
ground from external hold mode.
You know, many of the times, one of the questions that comes is why space? You know, it's so hard. Getting to space is hard enough. Getting to space on the first try is even
All
harder.
stations to note.
So if it's
mission
so
after
hard,
authorized, the launch
why do
of
it at all?
Vikram-1
Getting to
mission
space is
armament.
hard
What
enough.
does it
Getting to
hold of
space on the
such
first try
huge
is even
importance?
All
harder.
stations to note.
That we want to strive for making to the stars.
I mean, if you think about it, all the activities that happen on Earth, they are connected in some or the other way to space. Space has quietly become a part of our daily life. Every weather forecast, every map that guides us home, every digital payment and long distance call leans on us. It all leans on a satellite somewhere overhead.
And I mean, it's like the human curiosity that takes you really farther. And like humans, we actually like complex things, and we just like it's not just enough to stay on one planet. And so that's why the man decided to take a decision to set off to some higher horizons. And it is still, after 80, 90 years, the complexity still remains so high in space travel.
Yeah, and one question that comes about is how do you make all of that happen?
The new launch ISP
So-
is 12:05, 30 seconds.
Right, we've just gotten call out and confirmation that the new T0 is 12:05 p.m. Just as a reiteration to all our viewers.
Roger.
So we were talking about what it takes to make all of these happen, and of course we would like to thank ISRO for all their support, from opening the doors to the Satish Dhawan Space Center, the historic first launch pad, issuing us guidance and helping us with all the nitty-gritty details. They've worked with us day and night on this. They've treated this vehicle as though it were their own, and they're so committed to making sure that mission Agaman reaches its intended orbit, that they've essentially become a part and parcel of the Skyroot family.
They treated the
minus
vehicle as
15
their own,
minutes.
as you correctly said, Suyash. Like, they have been involved with us throughout the entire campaign,
Vehicle directed to
helped
Skyroot launch
us,
control.
and along
You
with
can
ISRO, we would
reinitiate
also like
an
to
automated launch
take a
sequence
pause
at
to
T minus
thank
11 minutes.
InSpace, and they have acted as a bridge between the government organization, facilitating all the review meetings, everything, and allowing us access to SHAR, all the policies, all the reforms. So thank you, InSpace, for all the efforts, and thank you for rooting for Skyroot.
Yeah, one interesting thing, and this is a personal experience as well. We did Mission Prarambh in November 2022, and believe it or not, the headquarters of InSpace were inaugurated in June 2022.
Just 6 months from our
Yeah.
first launch.
So you might have to imagine that it's just 6 months, and they've had to imagine and they have to write and draft all the policies that are required. They have to make sure that they know
T-minus 14
how
minutes.
the mission is going to be, regulated. What do we need to do to essentially handhold the space sector, the private space sector?
It was very seamless, indeed, very seamless. The way they took all of it.
Yeah, very true. It definitely is not an easy job, and they've excelled at it. Same goes with ISRO. We've had, cases where they've been chasing after us.
Yeah. I remember those days.
Yeah, and it's quite, empowering to know that the government is playing such a huge role in helping make this happen. We talk about Atmanirbhar Bharat, we talk about Viksit Bharat 2047, and all of these technologies, what the private sector is trying to build today, is essentially contributing to that goal. If we want to be the world leaders, we need to start now.
Exactly, Suyesh. Like, I was fortunate enough to visit the LPSC test facility when I was with the rm-1 test campaign. It was a very great experience. I mean, and the coordination with the ISRO teams and the way they facilitated the entire test campaign and the data analysis, and post-test the data came like really fast, and like they were after us and they were very patient with us. So yeah, that was a really great experience for the young engineer like me.
Yeah, and that sort of reminds me to the stage test that we did just a couple of months ago. I think nearly 9 months ago.
Yeah, around I think October.
Yeah, October, I think. And so that was the test of the orbital adjustment module. It was a all-inclusive test. We had the entire stage. We had all the engines, the thrusters. We had the avionics. We had something quite interesting and
T-minus 12
melodic
minutes.
as well. We played Sare Jahan Se Acha using the Raman Mini thrusters on the stage, which was something very unique, very captivating to the young minds. Many people did not think that you could play music out of the screeching sounds of, 50 Newton Raman mini thrusters.
Again, an opera, I told you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Before that, yeah, you say this. Just give me a go. When to say. Just give me a go when to say. अभी तो हम pause है ना.
T minus 11 minutes.
Automated launch sequence initiated.
Roger.
All right, we're at T minus 11 minutes again, T minus 30, 10:30, sorry. And the automatic launch sequence has begun. We are in the pre-checks phase at the moment, where all the teams are essentially checking the health of the vehicle once again, making sure that all systems are operational and go for launch.
Before that, we had one confirmation that all the ground stations supporting today's mission, they have completed their readiness checks. As the vehicle travels downrange, telemetry will seamlessly transition between multiple ground stations, from Shah to Port Blair, then Bogor in Indonesia, and then finally Yatharagga in Australia. This network ensures continuous communication with the launch vehicle, with all mission data relayed back to mission control in real time.
That's right. And just to recap to all our viewers, some of the callouts that have happened till now. We first had the acquisition of day of launch winds, which is we acquire using a Doppler weather radar the winds prevalent. And as Akhil mentioned earlier, it's slightly a cloudy day today for launch, but come rain or sunshine, we are always ready to launch.
Yeah, the rain can't stop us, I think.
Yeah. And the next thing that we managed to do
T minus
is,
9 minutes.
of course, the guidance teams have completed the static navigation profile as well as the gyro compassing of the LINS package. So this is kind of the sensor which tells the attitude of the vehicle, essentially tells you how you're oriented with respect to Earth. And it's something very important that the vehicle has to do. It needs to know where north is and where the direction of gravity is. Post that, like he just confirmed, we've had all the ground stations. We have 4 ground stations supporting us today. Shar, which is where we are coming to you live from. And then we have Port Blair, following which we have Bogor in Indonesia. And finally, the Yatharagga ground station in Australia. So all of these ground stations essentially capture telemetry, which is the data from the
T
vehicle,
minus 8 minutes.
and relay it instantaneously to us.
Yeah, Suyash, you were mentioning about how we also see the wind profiles. The wind profiles are also checked. Just a while back, they were checked. And as I can see on the MCC, this wind profile or this data of the winds is also going to be uploaded into the mission computer in the sequence that is coming up. And also one of the key milestones which have been completed is the transition from external ground power to the rocket's onboard batteries. The vehicle has relied on ground support systems till now, but from this point forward, every stage must successfully power itself. So engineers, I believe, are watching the battery performances and electric health right now to ensure that the transition is smooth and every system is remaining stable as of now.
And for this
T minus
ALS sequence
7
also, we
minutes.
have completed all the null checks for all the stage nozzles, and the FNCs are working as fine as possible. And we are also happy that Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Minister of Space, is joining us live on video call, and he's rooting for Team Skyroot.
We are at T minus 6 minutes and counting. For the viewers who've just joined us recently, on your screens right now is the Skyroot Launch Control Center situated at Shah. We have many engineers looking at the vitals of the vehicle. This includes different teams, starting from avionics,
6 minutes.
guidance, navigation, control, liquid propulsion, solid propulsion, safety, reliability.
चल रही है कि सोनम वांगचुक का 3 इडियट से लेना देना है कि नहीं है, प्रभावित है कि नहीं है, प्रेरित है कि दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट का आदेश था कि सोनम वांगचुक का अनशन खत्म किया जाए और
One of the things that has also been completed just now is the uploading of the mission computer init files. And that's a funny name of sorts, but it essentially means initialization files. These are essentially files that contain all the requisite parameters to tell the vehicle what it needs to do in the early ascent of flight. It adjusts for the day of launch wind profiles that we talked about. It also has the gyro compassing.
तो
details.
रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट कह लीजिए.
And now we have confirmation that mission computer mode has been successfully changed to flight mode, and we are really jubilant and everybody is really happy that this stage has been successfully transitioned, and now we'll move towards the next check, that is HMSA disarming.
As we enter the final few minutes of countdown, another key safety milestone is underway. The head mount safe arm mechanism will be activated in a while, and till now it was ensured that the ignition chain has remained safely isolated.
That's right, Vedi. For the viewers who are very curious for this, the head mount safe arm mechanism, which we refer to as
T minus 4
HMSA,
minutes.
is a safety device which is well mounted at the head of our solid rocket motors. And the whole job of this device is to safely isolate the pyrotechnics from the rest of the solid grain. And the reason why we do that is for safety, to prevent any accidental ignition from, let's say, lightning strikes. We do have a cloudy day today, and of course, we have lightning suppression systems. We have 4 lightning towers on the first launch pad. But there can also be some form of electrical runaway. There can also be static discharge. So to safeguard all these devices from electrical discharges, we have a mechanical separation between the pyro devices and the solid rocket motor.
Right, so yes. So till now, the ignition system,
T
it
minus
was
3
in
minutes.
a protective, non-firing state, but now it's going to move on to a state wherein once the mission computer gives the ignite command, it can initiate a pyrotechnic chain of events.
That's right. And we're at T minus 3 minutes, and we have confirmation that the stage 1 head mount safe arm mechanism, or the stage 1 HMSA, has been successfully armed.
This basically means that our motor is now ready to ignite.
That's really great to hear. Along with this HMSA safety mechanism, we have one more layer of safety which we call the FTS, or the CDS, Command District System, or the Flight Termination System. This is utilized when if the vehicle during its flight mode tries to or like deviates from its intended flight trajectory, then the range safety officer can take a call to destruct the vehicle to safeguard the resources around it.
T minus 2 minutes.
That's right. As is with the case with any launch vehicle, we always prioritize safety, and with that in mind, we have all of these systems set up on the vehicle. We are now entering to condition the liquid stages on Vikram-1. So the orbital adjustment module is now conditioning itself and preparing for liftoff. So we are nearly at T-1 minute,
All stations
and
stand by for the
we
timer.
will leave you
T
with
minus
the
1 minute.
views of Vikram-1 and join you shortly at liftoff.
Minus 55 seconds. Minus 50 seconds. Minus 45 seconds. Minus 40 seconds. Minus 35 seconds. Minus 30 seconds.
Real-time programs activated.
Minus 25 seconds. Minus 20 seconds.
Minus 20 seconds is the call out now.
Minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And we have liftoff of Vikram-1, India's first private orbital launch vehicle. And we have great views coming from the
Plus 10
tracking
seconds.
cameras. And isn't this quite something?
विक्रम-1 ने अपनी उड़ान भरी है। प्रथम चरण का प्रज्वलन प्रारंभ हो चुका है। विक्रम-1 ने प्रक्षेपण पथ को लांघकर आकाश को भेदने का निर्णय ले लिया है, एक ब्रह्मास्त्र की तरह।
That's very true, Suyash and Akhil. I am awestruck at the sheer power that stage 1 is producing.
Plus 30
With
seconds.
this, we have two of our major prime mission objectives completed, which was successful ignition and safe tower clearance.
That's right. And we're coming up on max Q now, which is the period of maximum aerodynamic pressure, where the vehicle faces its largest aerodynamic loads as it flies through this zone at Mach 1.5 at an altitude of nearly 9 kilometers.
विक्रम-1 ने सफलतापूर्वक मैक्स
Star 1 minute.
क्षेत्र पार कर लिया है और दल
Plus 1 minute. Shot 2 Minato.
काफी उत्साहित है इस समय और विक्रम-1 प्रथम चरण के आगे बढ़ रहा है और हमें श्रीहरिकोटा व पोर्ट ब्लेयर पृथ्वी स्टेशन से मजबूत दूर संकेत मिल रहे हैं, जो
S1
बहुत ही
performance
अच्छी
normal.
खबर है।
That's right. We are at a downrange distance of 22 kilometers with an altitude of 34 kilometers. And on your screens right now are excellent onboard camera views from the vehicle.
And we can also see quite nominal chamber pressure values on the MCC screen.
The vehicle is currently at an altitude
And-
of 50 kilometers.
और यहाँ पे प्रथम चरण का प्रतिकरण हो चुका है और द्वितीय चरण का प्रज्वलन भी प्रारंभ हो चुका है।
This is quite a major achievement for the nation, with the vehicle successfully
Plus 2 minutes.
separating stage 1 and the ignition of stage 2 as well.
द्वितीय चरण अपना सफलतापूर्वक कार्य पूरा कर रहा है और प्रथम चरण का दहन अथवा प्रतिकरण समाप्त हो चुका है।
The vehicle is at an altitude of 89 kilometers, traveling at 2.6 kilometers per second. Of course, our target velocity for today is 7.6.
S2 performance normal.
We've just heard call out that the S2 performance or the stage 2 performance is nominal.
अनशन के 21वें दिन दिल्ली पुलिस ने
ये
सोनम
एक
वांगचुक
ऐतिहासिक क्षण है
को
पूरे
सफेद कपड़े
भारत
लगाकर
और
उठा
निजी
लिया, जिसके बाद से ही देश में राजनीतिक
यात्रा
बयान
का।
आ रहे हैं, राजनीतिक माहौल
This
गर्म है
vehicle has
और कई
crossed 100
सारे
kilometers
सवाल
of
भी उठ रहे हैं,
altitude, which is the
जैसे उस
notion
समय
of
अभिजीत
edge of
दीक्षित कहाँ
space.
थे।
And we have reached space, guys.
Congratulations, Vikram-1 is in space.
हमारा यान अंतरिक्ष
Plus 3
तक पहुंच चुका है।
And we've had callouts of separation of the payload
और
fairing. We have
इतने दिनों-
successful payload fairing separation.
It's nearly at an altitude of 120 kilometers, and the protective fairing is no
S2
longer required
separated.
and has been cleanly separated
S3
from the launch
motor
vehicle.
ignited.
और यहाँ पे द्वितीय चरण का भी पृथक्करण संपन्न हो चुका है और तृतीय चरण का प्रज्वलन भी प्रारंभ हो चुका है।
कि अब हम
That's right, Akhil. We've had successful ignition of stage 3. The vehicle is currently at 157 kilometers above the Earth's surface. It is 355 kilometers downrange, traveling at nearly 4
हम
kilometers
ही
per
वही तय
second.
करेंगे बाहर के लोग
Now,
हम क्या
the
करेंगे।
telemetry
Performance
will
normal.
switch over from Shar,
इससे ये
Port Blair and further to Bogor.
अब यान अपनी अंतरिक्ष यात्रा पर निकल चुका है। तृतीय चरण का प्रज्वलन चालू है और उसकी
+4 minutes.
प्रतिक्रिया नियमित रूप से चल रही है।
And as you can see on your screens, we have near exact following of the intended trajectory. The two dotted,
SVP
the two
Valento
lines
are
on your
tracking in
screen
main auto.
essentially indicate the current performance of the vehicle, and it closely matches with prediction. This is on your screen on board from stage 3. What you see is the rocket plume and the nozzle, and Earth, our home.
What a beautiful view! क्या सुंदर दृश्य है हमारी पृथ्वी का।
S3 performance normal.
और तृतीय चरण का परफॉर्मेंस अब नॉर्मल है, या कि सामान्य रूप से तृतीय चरण का संचालन प्रारंभ हो चुका है और चल रहा है।
That's right. We've had call out that the stage 3 performance is nominal.
+5 minutes.
So stage 3 has a propellant loading of 2.5 tons, and we've had burnout of
लग रहा था
stage
कि
3
जितने
motor
भी
as planned at
S3
T+5
अनशन
minutes.
के 21वें दिन
Yes, we've
दिल्ली
gotten
पुलिस ने
confirmation
सोनम
that
वांगचू को
S3 has burnt
सफेद
out,
कपड़े लगाकर
and
उठा
now
लिया,
we're
जिसके
entering
बाद से ही देश में
a
राजनीतिक
planned
बयान
coast
आ रहे हैं।
period. Something that lasts for 140 seconds, in which it's called as combined
Combined
coast.
coasting is normal.
Right, so we've got call out that the combined coast is nominal. This will last for roughly 140 seconds, where stage 3 is not producing thrust, but it's connected to the vehicle and it's going to coast as a single body. All of this is done to manage the altitude of the vehicle and also control where the stage will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere before splashing in international waters in a
+6
safe
minutes.
and planned manner. And jubilant views from the launch control center, where the teams are extremely elated and excited.
और मिशन नियंत्रण केंद्र और लॉन्च नियंत्रण केंद्र से आपको दृश्य दिखाई दे रहे हैं। सभी यान परीक्षण दल अत्यंत ही प्रसन्न हैं और यहाँ पर जो प्रसंग है वो एक उत्सव का प्रसंग बन चुका है। एक ऐतिहासिक क्षण भारत के निजी अंतरिक्ष उड़ान का विक्रम